This series contains adult language and depictions of graphic violence. Listener discretion is advised. I had a lot of fun last week, so we're going to head back to Hispaniola in the island nation of Haiti for another trip down Voodoo Lane. Because in those sun-soaked hills of that island nation, where the Caribbean breeze stirs through the fields of sugarcane and coffee, the whispers of spirits are said to flow as naturally as the rivers that wind through those mountains. The land is steeped in magic, where the spiritual world bleeds into the physical realm, and where the mysteries of life and death are not confined by the Western constructs of reason and logic. This is a place where those ancient practices of voodoo are not merely a religion, but a way of understanding the universe, a force as integral to life as the rising of the sun and the fall of night. In the heart of this mystic land, nestled in the quiet village of Kazali, a woman who only goes by the name Anna came to embody the deep, unfathomable currents of the voodoo tradition. Her story, one of spirit possession, transcendence, and ultimate sacrifice, would reverberate through the region, capturing the imagination of both the devout and the skeptical alike. It's a story that speaks not only to the power of the Iwa, the spirits of voodoo, but to the unique and enigmatic relationship between the physical and the spiritual worlds in Haitian culture. Anna's life, marked by her union with a powerful voodoo spirit, is more than a tale of singular possession. It's a reflection of a broader truth, that in Haiti, to be chosen by the spirits is both a blessing and a curse. A path of devotion that demands as much as it gives. For Anna, this path led her to become the wife of a spirit, a journey that would forever alter the course of her life and challenge the very notions of love, loyalty, and identity. To understand Anna's story, we first have to understand the world into which she was born. Kazali, like many villages in Haiti, is a place where the boundaries between the natural and the supernatural are, well, they're fluid. Where the spirits of the ancestors walk among the living, and where the practice of voodoo is as central to daily life as the tilling of the soil and the gathering of crops. The village itself is a modest one, with small, thatched roof houses clustered among the dirt roads that wind through the hills. The people of Kazali are farmers, their lives shaped by the rhythms of the land and the seasons. They grow coffee, bananas, and sweet potatoes, and while their work is hard and their resources limited, they're sustained by a deep sense of community and a shared belief in the power of the spirits to protect and guide them. In Kazali, the practice of voodoo is not something reserved for the priestly class. It's woven into the fabric of their lives, passed down through generations, and understood by all as a means of survival in a world that's often harsh and unforgiving. These spirits are ever present, watching over the living from the realm of the dead, offering guidance, protection, and occasionally demanding something in return. For the people of Kazali, these spirits are not distant deities, but living entities that can be called upon in times of need. They are honored through elaborate ceremonies, offerings of food and drink, and the rhythmic pounding of drums that summon them into the bodies of the faithful. It is through possession that these spirits communicate with the living, entering the bodies of their chosen followers and speaking through them, offering wisdom, healing, and at times, warnings of the future. It was into this world that Anna was born, a world where the spirits were as real as the mountains that loomed in the distance and the river that flowed through their valley and nourished the fields that provided the food that they ate. Anna was a child of Kazali, born into a family that, like so many others, had deep roots in this practice of voodoo. Her mother, Marie Claire, was a respected mambo, a voodoo priestess who had served the spirits for decades, acting as an intermediary between the physical and spiritual realms. Anna grew up watching her mother conduct ceremonies. That smell of burning herbs and the sound of the drums was a constant presence in her life as a child. She learned from a very early age that the spirits were not to be feared, but to be revered, that they were powerful allies who could bring both blessings and devastation, depending on how they were treated. By the time Anna reached adolescence, it was clear to her family that she had been marked by the spirits. Like her mother, she showed an uncanny sensitivity to the spiritual world, often slipping into trances during ceremonies, her body convulsing as the spirits took hold of her. It was during one such possession, when Anna was just 16, that the course of her life would change forever. It was a humid Caribbean evening in July, and the people of Kazali had gathered for a voodoo ceremony in honor of Damballa, the serpent spirit who, according to voodoo belief, is the father of all the other spirits. The drums beat steadily, echoing through the trees. The villagers danced and chanted, and they were calling upon the spirits to come and join them. Anna, standing right near the edge of the circle, felt that familiar pull, the sensation of something greater than herself approaching. As the music reached a fever pitch, Anna's body began to shake, her eyes rolling back into her head as she collapsed to the ground. Those around her stepped back, recognizing the signs of possession, and they just watched as Anna's body twisted and writhed, her voice no longer her own, but that of a deep, commanding presence. It was not Damballa who had taken hold of her, but another spirit, one that few in the village dared to speak of. Ogun, the warrior spirit of fire, strength, and iron. Ogun was a powerful spirit, known for his fierce temper and his unyielding demands. He was the spirit of soldiers and blacksmiths, of those who wielded power and authority. For a young girl like Anna, to be chosen by Ogun was both an honor and an extraordinarily heavy burden. In the grip of possession, Anna's voice bellowed through the air, declaring herself to be the chosen wife of Ogun. The villagers, watching, awestruck, knelt before her, offering their respect to the spirit that now lived within her. When the possession ended and Anna became herself again, she was dazed, disoriented, unsure of what had just happened, with hardly any memory of it. Her mother, however, knew exactly what had happened. Ogun had claimed Anna as his bride, a sacred union that would bind her to the spirit world for the rest of her life. In voodoo, the concept of marrying a spirit is not altogether uncommon. The Iwa often take human wives or husbands, entering into a sacred relationship that requires the living partner to honor and serve that spirit through rituals, offerings, and mostly through devotion. These marriages, while spiritual in nature, are taken very seriously by those who are chosen, similar to nuns taking the vows to be a bride of Jesus. And to neglect the spirit spouse is to invite misfortune and illness upon yourself and your family. For Anna, becoming the wife of Ogun was both a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, she was now considered a favored child of the spirits, a position that brought her respect and admiration from the people of Kazali. Her mother, proud of her daughter's spiritual calling, began to groom her to take over the role of Mambo, teaching her the intricate rituals and songs that would allow her to communicate with the Iwa and serve the community. But listen, also, being the wife of a spirit like Ogun has its challenges. Ogun was known for his fiery temper and his demanding nature, and Anna soon found herself consumed by the obligations of this spiritual marriage. She was required to conduct regular ceremonies in his honor, offering him rum, cigars, iron tools, all things sacred to him. She was also expected to remain chaste, as her marriage to Ogun was considered a binding one, and any relationship with a mortal man would be seen as an act of infidelity to the spirit. As the years passed, Anna's connection to Ogun grew stronger. She began to experience possession more frequently, often falling into trances during the most mundane tasks. While cooking, while walking through the fields, bathing in the river, each time Ogun took hold of her, his presence was unmistakable. Her voice would deepen, her posture would stiffen, and her eyes would glow with an intensity that sent shivers down the spines of those who witnessed it. It was during these possessions that Ogun would speak through Anna, offering guidance to the people of Kazali, warning them of impending dangers, offering blessings for their hard work. The villagers came to see Anna not just as the daughter of Marie Claire, but as a living vessel for Ogun, a woman who had one foot in the physical world and one foot in the spiritual. But the more Anna gave to Ogun, the more he demanded of her. It wasn't long before the spirit's possessiveness began to take a toll on her physical and mental health. She became prone to bouts of exhaustion, her body worn out from the frequent possessions and the constant demands of her spiritual duties. She found herself increasingly isolated, unable to form close relationships with others for fear of angering Ogun. Her mother, who had once encouraged her connection to the spirit world, began to worry that the marriage was consuming her daughter's life. Anna's life became a delicate balance between her duties to Ogun and her own desires as a human being. While she honored her marriage to the spirit, she also longed for the simple pleasures of life that were denied her. She dreamed of having children, of experiencing the warmth of human companionship, of living the life that was not entirely dictated by the whims of a spirit. But these dreams were forbidden to her. For as long as she was bound to Ogun, she could not pursue a mortal relationship. As the years went on, Anna began to question her role as the wife of a spirit. She wondered if there was a way to serve the Iwa without losing herself in the process. Her mother, sensing her daughter's growing unease, sought the counsel of a respected Hungan, a voodoo priest from a neighboring village. The Hungan, a man named Jean-Louis, was known for his wisdom and his ability to mediate between the spirits and their human followers. Jean-Louis agreed to meet with Anna, and after performing a series of divinations, he confirmed what her mother had feared. Ogun's hold on Anna was simply too strong, and if she continued down this path, her health and sanity would deteriorate further. However, the Hungan also warned that breaking the bond with a spirit as powerful as Ogun was a very dangerous undertaking. The spirit would not release his wife willingly, and any attempt to sever the connection could result in catastrophic consequences. Despite the risks, Anna was determined to reclaim her life. She asked Jean-Louis to help her find a way to appease Ogun without fully renouncing her marriage to him. The Hungan agreed to perform a ritual that would, in essence, renegotiate the terms of Anna's spiritual marriage, allowing her to serve Ogun without being completely consumed by him. We see this often. Prenups get renegotiated all the time. The ritual, which took place over the course of several days, involved a series of offerings and prayers designed to appease the warrior spirit. Jean-Louis, along with Anna and her mother, called upon the other Iwa to intercede on her behalf, asking them to please persuade Ogun to release his hold on her. The ceremony was intense, pounding drums, burning fires, the air thick with the smell of rum and herbs. When Ogun finally appeared, possessing Anna once again, his fury was palpable. He raged against the idea of loosening his grip on his wife, declaring that she belonged to him and him alone. But through the efforts of Jean-Louis and the other spirits, Ogun was eventually persuaded to relent. He agreed to allow Anna to live a more balanced life, provided that she continued to honor him through ceremonies and offerings. Now, with Ogun's blessing, Anna was finally able to carve out a life that was her own. She continued to serve as a mambo in Kazali, conducting ceremonies and offering guidance to the community, but she also allowed herself the freedom to pursue her own happiness. She formed close relationships with other women in the village, and while she remained chaste out of respect for her spiritual marriage, she no longer felt the same sense of isolation and restriction that had once weighed so heavily on her. The people of Kazali, who had long revered Anna for her connection to the spirit world, now saw her as a symbol of resilience and strength. She had faced the demands of a powerful Iwa and had found a way to maintain her identity while still honoring her spiritual obligations. In doing so, she became an example to others, showing that it was possible to walk the path of voodoo without losing yourself in the process. As the years went by, Anna continued to serve Ogun, but the nature of their relationship had obviously changed. While he still possessed her during ceremonies, his presence was no longer completely overwhelming. Anna had learned to control the intensity of the possession, allowing the spirit to speak through her without completely overtaking her. This newfound balance allowed her to serve both the spirits and her community with grace and with clarity. In the end, Anna's story is one of transformation, of a woman who, through her devotion to the spirit world, found the strength to reclaim her life and her identity. It's a story that speaks to the complexity of voodoo, where the relationship between the living and the spirits are ever shifting, and where the boundaries between the physical and spiritual realms are never fully defined. For the people of Kazali, Anna remains a figure of both reverence and inspiration, a woman who walked the line between two worlds and emerged stronger for it. In the land where spirits dwell, her story serves as a reminder that the path of voodoo, though fraught with challenges, is one that can lead to profound understanding and personal growth, if you have the courage to navigate its mysteries. Thanks for listening. Please make sure you're following The Devil Within wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. You could also check out our socials at The Devil Within Pod on Instagram, Facebook, and now full episodes are available on YouTube. Until next time, stay safe out there. The Devil Within is an EVO production, recorded live at Bel Air Studios in Los Angeles, California. Written and produced by Brandon Morgan, executive produced by Danny Abelson. For The Devil Within, I'm your host, Brandon Morgan.